24 things I did in 2024 that reduced my weight by 47 pounds. Let's go.
In our appearance driven social system, toxic productivity and diet culture are considered especially heinous. In Denver, Colorado, a dedicated goal getter seeking to crush these vicious lies is the founder of an elite squad known as Heal Thy Spirit. These are her stories.
Hello. Welcome to the Heal Thy Spirit podcast. I am Tia, and today is Friday, December 3rd. I'm going to try to be brief here. I came up with 24 things that I did in 2024. So 24 and 24. And, there's a running theme since we're now in 25 that I used to reduce my weight in 2024. And it turns out that I lost about 47 pounds, I think. I will put my stats up here in the corner and let you know what I weighed at the beginning of in January, as well as probably a picture from January of last year. Now know that I did not start using Zepbound until April of 2024, but as many of you who are here been on the weight loss struggle bus that I'm converting to weight reduction struggle bus, using the proper verbiage here going forward, since as far as I can remember. So I'm gonna, like I said, try to be brief. Vaughn, it usually comes home early on Fridays and never fails. As soon as I get ready to record, he comes in, and it's not that I'm bothering him or anything like that, but I just am more open and comfortable, and I can speak louder, and I guess probably more relatable to you guys. So we'll go for it. I'll just real quick start off with my shirt. Don't make fun of my pants like my son did. But my shirt says, "I can't, but I know a guy." So I am going to get into that and what that means a little bit later. All right, so we'll see if we can keep this under 20 minutes. Won't have a lot of explaining, but if you have any questions about the things that I mentioned, then leave them in the comments below. Additionally, I want to put the disclaimer that I am not a doctor. I am not a theologian. I am not a dietitian or a nutritionist. I am not giving you advice. I am just telling you what I did, and take from it what you will. All right. So first thing we're going to talk about is tracking. This started before 2024. And I've been tracking my food for as long as probably 2011 off and on, but consistently, as of today, I am on day 726 of consistently tracking my food every single day for the last 726 days. And I will put the proof up here so that you can see it. And I only recently added into the macros after I met with the dietitian recently. So, we'll talk about that in future episodes to come. Number 2 is exercise. I did 184 workouts in 2024, but keeping in mind that I only did a handful of those during the first quarter of the year. But even if I take that 184 and multiply it out by 52 weeks, that's still an average of 3.5 workouts per week. I really committed in May and hunkered down. I didn't do the math on that just from, May to the end of December, but that number would be quite higher. Maybe I will do that math and put it up here. And I certainly, haven't looked back since then. And just for reference, to know that this is not necessarily new things that I've done this year, obviously, because tracking is way older than that. Exercise is in 2023, I did 168 workouts, and that still averages out to more than 3 times a week in 2023. So exercise is, not anything that's new to me. I actually like it. I did take a hiatus of like 3 months towards the end of 2023. But even with all of that, with the tracking and with the exercise prior to Zepbound, I did not drop below. I think my lowest weight in recent years, from I think in 2021, I was like 218. And that was when I did my last diet, so to speak. So that's something that I don't believe in, dieting or restriction. She is Tanika, did a video earlier today. Well, she posted it earlier today, and she said she has an 80-20 rule where she eats 80% well and 20% dirty. And I thought that was really funny. I never called it anything. I just, don't restrict. The body wants what the body wants. I'm in control of that, but to a certain degree. But like she was saying, you can have a sliced pizza, and no food is bad. Food is neutral, and we assign an emotion to it. So we'll talk about that in future episodes as well. Number 3, Zepbound. I already mentioned I started April 21st, 2024. And I put it here. My January highest weight was 244 pounds. And on the day that I took my first shot, I weighed 240.8 pounds. And as of today, I'm like right around 197 in about 3 days. So we're still right around 197. So if I take my original highest weight of 244 and I subtract out 197, that gives me 47 pounds. So that's where I came up with that number. I haven't lost quite that much on Zepbound. Extra, I'll give myself credit for losing between 3 and 4 pounds, all of my own. Number 4 is protein. We've all heard it in this inside and outside this community, that when you're looking to retain muscle as you lose weight, you want to make sure you're getting enough protein. How much protein that is going to vary depending on who you are and what works for you. My dietitian wants me having between 120 to 130 grams of protein on a daily basis. Yesterday, I got, as far as protein, 123 grams of protein yesterday. If I look at the week view, I'm averaging 111, but we're still kind of in the middle of the week, and I also haven't put in my protein for today. So last 2 weeks have been lower with the holidays because I haven't been eating like on my normal routine. I'm just kind of, with family in town and all of that. But still, 97 last week, 107 for pretty much the whole month of December. And if I flip back, it's pretty consistent. So 100 grams is a low protein average for me. So there's that. I train for 5K. So we all know that cardio does help you lose weight. So you definitely there's nothing bad about that. But you just want to make sure that you're incorporating some strength. Number 6 is I met with a dietitian. That was recommended by my doctor, and I've been meeting with her the first couple times, a few weeks, but like even our last meeting, we met on Monday. It was like a 15-minute session because there's really, there was nothing that she needed to add, because she has a link to my tracker that I showed you guys. And I will let you know this month, I promise. This month, I'll let you know how to access that if you want to start using it for yourself or adopt it to something that's going to help you track on your own. My goal is 1410 is my calorie goal that she has me shooting for. 120 to 130 grams of protein, 25 to 35 grams of fiber. All right, let me restart that. So she has me with 120 to 130 grams of protein, 25 to 35 grams of fiber, 100 grams of carbs, and 50 to 55 grams of fat. And usually I stick to that most of the time. I do sometimes have higher fat and lower carbs, but that's just because I'm not carb crazy. Like there are moments, so like you look at the last couple of weeks where I do have extra carbs, but I don't think they're bad. It's just not something that I eat regularly. Accountability. So this is a big one. I have so many forms of accountability. Here on YouTube with all my friends that I've met, Alonda and Downsizing Diva and Traces of Twine and Debbie. And if I forget anybody, I'm sorry. I already talked about, she is Tamika, Kofia, Coach Kofia. There's so many people that I wouldn't, I can't take up so much time, but that's, one facet. Even before getting to know folks on YouTube, I have my best friend, Nikki, that lives in Texas, and I send her every morning. We send each other screenshots of our workouts for the day. So holding ourselves accountable. My son, we're like linked on the watch, and I get notifications. He gets notifications when I complete a workout. He's like my biggest unofficial personal trainer, to be honest. Then there is Fit Squad, which I hope to have 2 members of Fit Squad at least on the show, whatever you want to call this, on the channel this month or next month. Jury's still out on that, but your pal Misty, who has a YouTube channel, I mentioned her in my last video, and then the trainer coach Kirsten, who I actually met through a mutual friend who is also a trainer, Franny, Shine with Franny. She is on social media a lot. She has a YouTube channel, but I don't think she posts there very often. But she had a retreat down in Florida in 2022, I think. No, it was during COVID because I didn't get COVID. I was supposed to go, typically every summer we go on vacation, Vaughn and I, with some other friends that used to live in New Jersey, but now live in Florida. And he went to New Jersey and I went to that retreat. So it probably was October of 2019 where I met Kirsten. And she was just there as an additional participant, but she had daily workouts, and that's when I got hooked on her. So we met in person, and then she has Fit Squad, which I'll put the link to that channel, and you can know all about that. And then of course I cannot forget my lovely Malika Burley, who also, she's been on the podcast before, and she's written a book. She's lost over 80 pounds. She is a sister in Christ, and she wrote a book, Christ Over Cookies, and it's just really been supportive. I did her lose the first 50 pounds program, and I'm not sure if it's open right now, but I will find out and I'll put a link. So if you want to put faith for first, kind of helps guide you when you are understanding the mindset, because when you're on these medications, a lot of people, I think a lot of the negative stigma comes from people who either don't understand that you have to get your mind right and figure out why you lost or why you gained the weight, or have always been heavy in the first place before you can handle everything that comes when you lose the weight. And so getting your mind right first, and of course, the way you do that is, the way I do that is by recognizing, that God comes first, and inviting him basically to be a partner in whatever things you are setting out to accomplish. Number 8, I shifted the YouTube channel focus. So as I mentioned, Heal Thy Spirit has been in existence for quite some time. And I didn't really talk a lot about me personally, like in this vlog style that I've been doing recently. But and I am gonna kind of shift it back in 2025 to give you more informative or educational or edutainment, as Franny would say, about different things, not just the fat loss adventure. Then Trainwell. So Trainwell is an app that you probably have heard about, and I'll probably do an episode specifically about that. But that is something that I added to my Fit Squad workouts just because basically my body was starting to get used to the exercise that I was doing, and I kind of wanted to trick it, so to speak. So previously I used to work out with Fit Squad for the most part, Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday is a rest day. And that day would be the day that I would run. But, I guess my body just started to think that that is just normal activity. So now I currently do Trainwell on Sunday. I do full body workout in the actual gym with machines. Monday is a rest day, but I usually work out with Fit Squad on Monday mornings. Then Tuesday, I do upper body with Trainwell. I do those workouts here in my house. Wednesday is legs. I do that workout here in my house. And then Thursday would be a rest day. I typically work out with Fit Squad on Thursday as well. And then Friday is kickboxing with Fit Squad. And then Saturday is just a 30-minute workout. Those other workouts I mentioned are 45 minutes to an hour. And that's what I do for my training schedule. But if I take a rest day, it's usually going to be on a Monday or a Thursday because I don't have anything scheduled. And I love kickboxing so much that I hate to miss that. When I was training for the 5K, I used that because that was like another cardio day. So I would run on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And that was before I was even doing Trainwell. So once I'd done the 5K, I just dropped down supposedly to Wednesday and Sunday, but I fell off of that wagon early in the fall. All right, so number 10 is research. So that is YouTube, news articles, TV shows, books, whatever. I love to read all the things. I want to know all the information. So that's, kind of how I got into this thing. And I think that's an important thing, is not to, listen to what everyone tells you, because I always say it here that information is not always education. But in order to educate yourself, you do need to have a source of valid and reputable information to dig into, and then sort it out, pray about it, figure out what is going to work for you or what you want to try, and go from there. Number 11, priority. So I made everything. I basically and it was like an unofficial, because I don't do like New Year's resolutions. It's just an unofficial thing that, I set goals on a regular basis. January 1st does not, it's just a flip of the page of the calendar. It does not change anything. Everything that was still going on December 31st is still going on December 31st, January 2nd, everything is still the same. So it's just a date on the calendar, a way to, track the days, the weeks, the months, the years. And so, but last year at some point I decided that this was, well, every year, honestly, I decided that I was really going to do something about being obese. and or morbidly obese. I don't think I was morbidly obese. I haven't been that since before my lap band surgery, more than I think it was 13 years ago. So there's that. But what I did, I mean, even in school, like I did in my finance class, we had to pick a company and do like a financial analysis. And I picked Eli Lilly and a comparison to Novo Nordisk. I used them for examples in other things. In my other class, strategic management class, I talked about it. So there's lots of opportunities to, circle everything around whatever your journey is and to fit that into your everyday life. So it's not like you're picking up a new thing and letting something else go, because that is what tends to happen, because you can only do so much. So I made it a priority that this is going to be my focus, and everything else that I was already doing became a part of that focus. Number 12, non-negotiable lifestyle changes. So basically it's business as usual. When I decided that this is the thing that I was going to do, it became a permanent thing. So it's not, you hear some people say they skip their shot for the holiday, and this is no judgment, no condemnation for that, if that's what you decide to do. But for me, like with the tracking of the food or the exercise or whatever it is, I'm going to do everything the same no matter what, because it doesn't, once you decide that it's not a chore and that you don't have to do something, but you get to do something, it's not so bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, I told you I figured out a way to love exercise. I don't know if, that's kind of always been like that, except maybe in high school. And I remember I did not look forward to PE, but that was partially because of the having to change clothes in front of other girls who are always smaller than you and not physically being able to do the things that we were required to do. So at the end of the day, making it a non-negotiable lifestyle change and a part of your routine by developing habits and doing things that in a way that you enjoy them. So a good example, I tried bar, which is what my best friend, the one in Texas that I mentioned earlier, does. And I've been telling her I was going to try it, and I tried it and I don't like it. So I feel as though I need to keep at it so that I get better at it, because that's kind of how I am. When I try something and it's hard and I can't do it, then I want to keep doing it until I accomplish it. But it's not fun. Like, I don't sweat. It is hard, but for me, most of the moves were, it didn't make me sweat. If I'm not breathing hard and dripping in sweat, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing it. So anyway, there's that. Supplements. So I am consistently this year have been taking all of my vitamins. I've always thought that vitamins were kind of like a cash grab and didn't really, do anything. But I take currently, and consistently since April, I take multivitamin, actually 2 multivitamins, IQ Biology, I think. I ordered them initially off Amazon. Apparently there was some craze on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok. But apparently they were, having people, talk about them, or, whatever. I don't know. I'm not, supported by them. I just started taking them. They are kind of expensive, but they have all the things that I was missing, because with one of the benefits of tracking everything is it shows like your vitamins as well, and it shows where you're lacking. And so this was the vitamin that I happened to find that checked all the boxes that were missing from what I was eating in my food. So I've been taking those, and maybe I'll do a separate episode about that. I take 5 milligrams of creatine, probably a little bit more, because I think probably 8 milligrams of creatine a day, because my pre-workout has like 3 milligrams. And then when I finish working out, I take another 5 grams with my protein. So I'll either put it in my Chobani yogurt drink that has 20 grams. It's a Chobani Complete, has 20 grams of protein, and I'll just dump it in there, or my coffee, my protein coffee that I told you guys that I make. I have done it in an actual protein shot, but it's really gross because the shot, that I get from like bariatric pal, it's 100 calories, and it has 25 grams of protein, and you just drink it. And it's not like really a meal, but sometimes I keep those around for if I'm not hungry, but I know I need to have something. It's been a while since I've eaten. I'll do that. And I did try creatine in that once. Not a fan. So anyway, I used to take a B12 supplement every day. Now I just take that usually once a week on either shot day or the day after because it's like a 2,500 milligram tablet. But the last time that I got lab work, my B12 was like off the charts. My original weight nurse practitioner had told me to take 500 milligram tablets, so 1,000 milligrams a day. But I find that I don't really, obviously, I don't need that because it's off the charts, and B12 is in other things that I consume. So I do take it on shot day or the day after shot day. I did not take it this morning because I forgot because, my brain is whatever. And I guess I'll probably take it tomorrow because I did take my shot right before I started filming. I like to do it on Fridays. I used to do it first thing in the morning, but I switched my plasma donation days. So I want to make sure I get my workout in and I get my donation done before I take the shot. And then just in case it makes me tired, because sometimes it does. So it's like mid-afternoon or in the evening, usually when I take it. Today, I took it at 2 o'clock. Fiber well, I was taking Mira fiber gummies, but I couldn't get them or something, or I just picked them up, the fiber well up at Sam's Club. I actually was taking the Phillips in the blue bottle. I did that one whole bottle. But I take 4 of those a day to help so there's no constipation issues. So and potassium because I can't find anything. I have some potassium gummies that I take. And I used to get like cramps. I haven't been getting them since I've been consistently active and taking the Zepbound. I've gotten maybe, 2 in a 6 month time span, whereas I used to get them almost daily. So I take in the morning, first thing I take the multivitamin, the potassium every single day without fail. Pre-workout, then I work out, then I take the creatine. At lunchtime is when I take the fiber gummies. I do take 4 of those. I found the fiber well that I get from Sam's Club. 4 gummies. I told y'all about that when my son actually ate them. They taste really good. So those equal, I forget how many grams it is, but it's 2 more grams per day than 4 of the Mira fiber gummies. And it's more cost effective getting it at Sam's Club. And then at bedtime, I take a calcium, magnesium, zinc supplement. And that's just to help get the calcium up. And it happened to have magnesium. And I heard that it's good to take magnesium before you go to bed. And zinc's just an extra one. For a little while, I was taking the Mary Roots liquid. This was before I got the saline taken out of my lap band. And I found that I kind of got tired of taking that. It's way too expensive. And now that I've gone back to the IQ biology, because I can swallow now. Before I was just so tired of swallowing pills, and that was the best I could find that wasn't a gummy. But I do feel a difference since I went back to those versus taking the Mary Roots. And I was taking iron with Mary Roots, but the other supplements that I take, IQ Biology, have enough iron. So I still have, because I forgot to cancel my subscription. So I have an unopened box of the Mary Roots iron, and I have a partially used bottle in the fridge, but I have not been taking it. So I don't know. I have electrolytes, don't take them consistently or regularly, just I feel like I'm thirsty and the water's not helping. then I'll throw electrolytes in there. But and I do work out a lot. So if I feel like I had a hard workout or I'm really thirsty or I need to replenish electrolytes, then I will, have something. And I don't have a preferred brand that I use. I just, whatever I have. I've tried the drip drop. I've tried usually it's like the Body Armor IV. I've tried liquid IV. I got a gift card from work and used that to try Cure. I don't like the flavor watermelon, but I have it and I'll use it anyway or mix it with something else. But yeah, so that's that on supplements, which is 13. Number 14, proper sleep. I'm feeling a little bit of conviction right now because it's Friday and I worked at Target. I work at Target on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights just for 4 hours. But, I don't get home usually until 10:30 or 11, depending on what time I actually get out of there and whether I do any shopping when I get off. So the last 2 nights I have not gotten my sleep, but I have consistently in 2024 averaged 6.5 hours of sleep per night, which is my norm. That's about what I need. If I need more or if I get more, I usually is too much. But you have to figure out what works for you as far as proper sleep. Your body does, the weight comes off when you're sleeping. So it's, you definitely want to make sure you give your time enough or give your body enough time to recover during your sleeping time. So number 15, water intake. So I definitely have room to grow here because I'm not a thirsty person just in general, even before this. It's not that I don't like water. I do like water and I've tried all kinds of things, the circle bottle, the, putting electrolytes in it, those little squeezy flavor things that you put in your water, like kind of like Crystal Light, but different brand. They have all kinds of different brands now, but I don't drink a lot. Like I'm the kind of person that, even before when I was drinking more soda, I would get like a 20-ounce, soda and I'd be drinking on that thing for like 3 days. I just don't get thirsty. I blame that probably on the lap band because drinking was difficult with, your stomach being banded. You don't want to drink too much water or too many fluids and not have room for food. And so I think that's maybe just something that's kind of stuck. Since I've gotten all of the saline taken out of the band, I am able to, on average, I drink between 64 and 80 ounces of water a day. So that's improving, but it's not consistently every day. So we're working on that in 2025. 80 is the goal every day. So we'll see how we go. I've had 32 ounces today and it's like 3:30. Currently I'm drinking Dutch Brothers. I've wanted to try the white coffee. Also not a fan. I love coffee. This is sugar-free, everything. And there's protein milk. It's like 20 grams of protein in what I'm drinking. But I like strong coffee. Like I usually get like 4 shots of espresso if I'm getting a latte or a macchiato or whatever it is. They don't really, well, they do have lattes, but they don't have macchiatos there. But for all my Starbucks people. And so white coffee is a lot sweeter and it might be as strong caffeine wise, but I don't feel it. So there's that. I mean, it's tasty, but it doesn't taste like coffee. It's kind of like sweet milk, which is also not a fan of milk. All right, we're almost done here. So number 16 is NSV, non-scale victory goals. Just using those to motivate me to keep going. So, I saved a pair of shorts from high school. We did this little competition thing a couple of years in what we called Airband. It's kind of like that show that LL Cool J hosted, Lip Sync, where people would, but it's famous people, they would get on stage and perform somebody else's song. And sometimes they were not artists, but I don't know, it's funny. I never actually watched it previously, but we just went down a rabbit hole on YouTube recently, so I'm a fan. But anyway, we did what was air band in high school. It was like a big thing, a big production. And so I participated in that with a group of friends. And we had one year, we had these like little shorts and red tops. And mind you, I was overweight then. I think believe like a size 14 in high school, around 175 pounds. And I saved those shorts for like 30 years because I was determined to get back into them. And now they fit. So that was, something I was like, okay, good. Now, keep going to where we were. Because when I was in high school, I was always like, oh, I could lose 10, 15 pounds. So that's kind of, where I'm at. Just taking note of or making mini milestones. So set something for yourself that you want to achieve and then shoot for that. Give yourself personal challenges. Right now I'm in the midst of this whole squat thing because I realized we do so many squats. Somebody did a squat challenge recently and I was like, yeah, I'm in for it. And I kind of fell off because I do way more. Like if I went fast forward to 31 days of squats, I definitely do way more than that. Spoiler alert, today I have done 442 squats today. And it's not even 4 o'clock p.m. So that's a challenge that I'm having is that I'm counting my squats this year to see if I can hit 1,000,000. Obviously, I'm not going to hit 1,000,000. That'd be like 2,800 squats every single day, which is just ridiculous. But I mean, even if I did 500 a day, which today I'll hit 500 because I like round numbers. So I'll do the rest. But 500 times 365 days, that's 182,000. So that's probably a more realistic goal, maybe 200,000 to round it up to stretch. So I'll probably adjust that to that. But that's what I mean. Just like when you hit something, set something to go for. I'm not great with celebrating or, giving myself celebration. Yeah, I don't know how to reward myself because food has always been the reward. So we'll work on that, but definitely challenge myself in other ways. Number 17, talk about it and inspire others. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm talking about it. Somebody mentions it to me. I tell them what to do. I have another friend who is trying to get back into the routine of losing a few pounds and or reducing a few pounds and exercising more consistently. And she visited me in town recently, and I hadn't seen her since Ron went back out, or he came in, and so, but now he's gone back out, so I'm back. What I was talking about was my friend came to town. That's the one great thing about living in Denver is that people come to see you because they come for things here. And she was visiting. I was telling her about my experience. And so with 17, talking about it, inspiring others. And not so much, like I said, with the GLP-1, but just, your experience in general with reducing weight and building muscle, exercising, just being motivating and inspiring others. And so now she's a new accountability buddy that I can add with that. Number 18 is I do weigh daily. I've been doing this for years. I am not triggered by it. I do not suggest it. If you are triggered by it, if the number on the scale impacts your mood, then you get on it when you need to. Once a week, once a month, once every couple of months. But for me, that's a thing that helps me because it allows me to course correct if, because I'm tracking all of my food, I'm tracking all of my activity, I have a better understanding of, when I do these things, it affects the scale this way. Now, that said, if you've seen the video about the results of my DEXA scan, it's important to note that when you're in the journey, it's not an only tool to use, but in conjunction with all of these other things, just because the scale is a liar and it doesn't give you an accurate depiction of what you're actually losing, even if you have, a body composition scale. Like I said, the one that I have, and I actually have three scales. So I have one that used to link to my Fitbit, but there was no body composition on that. I have the Renfo scale, which is the most accurate, and that's the one that I compare to my DEXA scans. And it's within 1 to 3% of pretty much every metric except the visceral fat. And then I have a Whiting scale that I got when I tried to use the Noom app a couple years ago, and it was like on special, and the measurements are completely off and different, and I hate it. You have to connect it to the Wi-Fi, whereas the Renfo scale is like Bluetooth to your phone. It always disconnects, takes forever to update. So I'm not a fan of Whitings. And maybe it's just the particular model that I have. But it is what it is. Long story short, number 18, weighing myself daily has helped me to monitor my progress. 19, taking pictures and measurements. I was really upset. Okay, a couple of things. On taking pictures, I've never, even when I was larger, didn't really care so much about taking pictures. I tend to take a lot of pictures when I'm actually doing something. Excuse me. That 5.5 hours of sleep last night's catching up with me. So with taking pictures, I've never been really shy of the camera since smartphones became a thing, but I just forget to take them a lot of times. So I make a point to, for sure, take pictures when on the first of every month, and my measurements I absolutely hate. The cheaper Renfo, I do not like it. Broke. I still use it, but I thought the battery was dead, and that's why it stopped working. So I changed the battery, and it worked for like the last time I took measurements, but this month with a brand new battery 30 days ago, it won't turn on. So I am probably this year going to get the upgraded one. I think Patrice Denise showed it in her video. So this one just came with my travel scale, and that's why I got it before, and it does sync to the app. So it works pretty cool when it works, but it doesn't work all the time. And I think Sunshine Storyline was talking about this one, and she didn't care for it much either. So I am not a fan of this particular one, but it has you can read it manually, so it's all good as far as that goes. But taking the measurements and seeing how you that in conjunction with weighing, however often you decide to weigh, is really going to help motivate you to keep going as the sizes get smaller. And even if the scale is going up, but your body composition as it changes, depending on what activities you're doing, it's going to really help. Now, jumping back forward to 20, that's with a journaling, something that I did sporadically in 2024, but I am being consistent with it this year in 2025. I actually write my prayers in a journal but in addition to, on a daily basis. Instead of Dear Diary, it's kind of Dear God. And a number of them, that's a whole video by itself that, maybe you will get to see if I decide to record that. 21, believing that you can do the thing. In the beginning of this, when I started talking about this wellness journey, the one thing that got me about my weight was the fact that I'm an overachiever. I'm a high achiever. I do pretty much anything I set my mind to, I do it. And doing all the things, and prior to Zepbound not being able to see results, it was, it was disheartening, I guess, to say the least. Certified mindset coach, and have worked with, getting your mind right, spiritually and otherwise, just having faith and confidence in yourself. That is definitely a tool at the top of my toolbox. 22 is gratitude, being thankful for all the experiences. I often talk about the lap band surgery, and I got down at one point to 188 pounds and slowly gained it back. But I don't regret any of that because, despite the fact that I want to get it taken out and my insurance company is saying that it's not medically necessary to remove it. So that's a whole thing that I'll be tackling in 2025 to get resolved. But a lot of the things that I learned that have made me successful with Zepbound, the high protein, and eating smaller meals, all of that comes from my experience with that. Exercising ahead of time comes with, even though I didn't lose or reduce the way I wanted to, all of those have taught me habits that I can take from. And there are no mistakes, only lessons, or something like that. But you guys get what I'm trying to say. I don't know who said it. So just being thankful for every experience and making the best out of it. God doesn't make mistakes. You are not a mistake. The actions that you take are not unforgivable. And that's being thankful for all of those experiences, which leads me to 23, which is grace, giving yourself grace, understanding that setting out, I am the person that, it's all or nothing, or I used to be, do all the things, over schedule, over register for classes in school, promise the world to everyone. I had one of my friends tell me, this was probably 15 years ago, when I lived in Maryland or Virginia, I can't remember which, but she mentioned, when she was in town, because we all grew up in Virginia and then everybody went away to college and moved away. I think there is only one person who still lives in Virginia right now that lived there, that we went to high school with. And I do still keep in contact with those girls. We have a chat on GroupMe that we communicate with each other. And then of course, when we're ever near each other, we try to make effort to see. But this one friend, the same one that came here to Denver, had said years ago that I always show up. Like that was the thing. Like they know that when they're in town or when they're having a get together or when they're doing something, I'm going to always show up. And so having grace and being a little selfish is okay. And that's something that I'm learning, that I don't always have to say yes to everything. I mean, if it is going to enrich you and allow you to grow or to have fun or to do whatever you need to do, obviously say yes, but you need to look at the value of the things and balance it all. And then that brings me to number 24, which is prayer and trusting God. That is my top priority, even though it's the last thing I mentioned here. But it is my top priority going into 2025 because I really slacked. I make an effort each year to read the Bible in chronological order and spend time really studying it. And, beyond just doing the verse of the day on the Bible app or writing in my Cultivate journals, which I'll do a whole episode on all of that. But I really started that in 2019. I believe was the first year that I read the entire Bible all the way through, but it was the Message version, which is not, it's like a paraphrase version. Like there's different types. So there's word for word, thought for thought, and then paraphrase. And so the Message is the easiest. Like if you're, if you're new to scripture, that's an easy way to get through it. The following year, I think I had been trying for years and years before that, but the year that I read the Message version was the only year still to date that I actually completed all the way through. And so then I tried the New King James Version year before last in 2023, failed. I was going to Colorado Christian University, and a lot of my classes, you use the Bible in your text, like even in your regular, like you might have an accounting class, but it still allows you to bring your faith into the classroom. And that's when I discovered the New Living Translation, that's really my favorite version. So I attempted to read that in 2024 and got through, and I was reading the Bible, but not consistently, like with 3 or 4 chapters every single day as I did. And I think it was 2021 or 2022 when I actually completed it. Probably 2021 when I actually completed it. And so I love it so much that I did decide to do that again this year. And I finally was able to get my hands on the Spiral Bible. So it's basically, it has them in sections, but it's a spiral notebook. I'm in Genesis right now, obviously, because it's only the 3rd day. And that book is over there. So I'm just going to open this one and kind of show you what it is and how it works. But it's literally like a spiral notebook, and it has the entire Bible written out. And there's a place on the side for you to do notes. So that is what I'm really focused on. And I'm getting a good start because I am on vacation. But that should be number one. All of these tips and examples that I gave are in no particular order, other than, God should be at the top of the list, and he was not in 2024. I've been convicted in that in many instances and examples. But we're moving forward. We're going to thrive in 2025. And yeah, that's all I got. So leave your comments, your suggestions. Tell me what you are taking into 2025 with you from 2024 in your experience. Let me know if you have any questions. And do not forget to heal thy spirit for a healthy spirit. May grace and peace be yours in abundance. Take care.